welcome to you from Geneva, Switzerland. This is the first and the orientation briefing for the WHO Scholar Level 1 certification on Immunization Agenda 2030. So this is actually dedicated to really providing all the critical information that participants in the course are going to need in the coming weeks. Having said that, we are sharing this with through our different platforms on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and so on. So you can get a peek in and get a sense of what course participants will be doing in this course. Now, let me so this is a course that is kicking off today and will be taking us through the month of June. Today's session is the first of the mandatory weekly discussion groups. So this is every Wednesday at this time. If you are a participant in the course, your attendance is required. It is short and to the point, and it really has two purposes. One is to give you what you need to make it through the course, what you need to do next. And second is to really listen and give and receive feedback about the ongoing work in the course. Participants will be making presentations. We will be depending on your participation. So there is there will be no sort of passive way to join the discussion group. If you join, it's because you are going to participate. Now, it is your responsibility as an adult learner. We will not be chasing after you, even if attendance is mandatory. There's a reminder that goes out every month. 1 week, so 7 days, and then 1 day before and 1 hour before each of these sessions. And you are responsible for figuring out when it is 1 p.m. Wednesday in Geneva, what time it is in your area. Now, one thing is I see many of you are sending greetings only to the panelists. So you can change that. You have this little button at the bottom. I don't know if this is on the phone, what this looks like on the phone, but look for where it says send to, and there you can switch to panelists and attendees. Now, the ground rules. Many of you already know how this works. If you haven't done so already, do tell us what city and country you are connecting from. So, and if you have, the purpose of this briefing is really to give you everything you need to really get oriented. That's the point of orientation week. And so we need your questions. We need to know if you're having any challenges, any difficulties, please let us know what they are. You just go to the Q&A tool. You can type your questions, and I believe you can then also vote on the questions that are that you want us to answer first. Now, we have 6 items on the agenda. This is the only time that we will be giving you a lot of information. This is an information dump. There's no polite way to say it. And it's the only time we'll do this. Every other week will be about your participation, your presentations, giving and receiving feedback from your peers, from the global experts who are contributing to the course. And right now, we may be a group of strangers. Most of us do not know each other in the room. And felt it was important, therefore, to introduce ourselves and then give you a sense of who we are as a group of participants selected that were selected by the World Health Organization. So first of all, we have a number of subject matter experts from the World Health Organization. You can see their names here, and I want to greet Alexandra Karik, Jan Grevendonk, and Jill Bilbao, as well as Michaela Mana, who are with us today. And thank you for joining today as well. Now, what can you expect from these subject matter experts? You can see the answer here. So really, we're inviting the SMEs to join the discussion groups, really listen and then give feedback, guidance, advice. In addition to that, there'll be opportunities for office hours on specific topics. Now, to introduce also I'll remove myself so that I don't appear twice. The Geneva Learning Foundation team, you can see us here, and here's what you can expect from the TGLF team as well. So we'll be supporting you throughout the course, but as you'll see and hopefully hear, we're not going to be the only ones supporting you as you try to navigate the course. Now, to give you a sense of how special a group you are as participants in this course. You can see here that we received 1,292 applications. And from those applications, the World Health Organization selected 196 participants. So really, 1 in 8. That means 7 out of 8 people who applied for the course were not selected. So this makes you a very special group. And I hope, as we said in the letter of acceptance, that will strengthen your motivation. Now, the demographics, you can see here, there's actually almost a 50-50 split between men and women, a healthy distribution of people from different age groups. The 54 countries of focus for the participants. You can see Yemen, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and here they are sorted by number of accepted participants. So you can see which are the largest, the countries from which you have the largest group of participants. If you are in the in one of the countries where you are the only participant from your country, then in a way, you have a special responsibility resting on your shoulders. It is like in the Olympics when you have some countries that are in some competitions represented only by one athlete. Well, in that case, you are that athlete. And so without wanting to overdo it, you are representing your country. And I hope that will strengthen your motivation and your commitment to make it through to the end of this course. This is a marathon over the course of several weeks. The most important sort of milestone is with that first assignment that you'll be receiving on Friday. But getting ready for that, learning to figuring out how this course works begins today. If you've managed to get on board, it's now about getting oriented and completing the daily tasks. I'll be coming back to that. Now, you can see that half of you in the course are working in the national EPI team. So that's the blue part of the circle here. We have, in terms of organizational affiliation as a consequence, you can see that the largest group is from national level Ministry of Health. You can see there are also consultants, WHO country office staff, other UN staff, again, sort of healthy distribution of people from different, with different affiliations. In terms of the levels of experience, you can see here that, if we look at 11 to 15 years, 16 plus years, you have a third of the participants, more than a third, who have really significant experience in immunization. So I'd like to ask this very experienced group to show indulgence and maybe to play a supporting role. Maybe there will be some opportunities for you to support and coach and help participants who have less experience than you do. And conversely, if you're new to immunization, then I'd ask you to basically you're going to have to do some due diligence to keep up with the experienced folks in the room and take your time and make allowances for that as well. There's a lot of diversity in the course, so that keyword of tolerance and indulgence are going, both of those keywords are going to be very important. In terms of your role in program planning, you can see here the numbers that are directly responsible for immunization planning in their country, in their context. There's a significant proportion of people who are the ones with that responsibility, but you can see other levels of responsibility as well. Now, about IA2030, at the time of the application, we all still had a third of you who had not heard of IA2030 before you applied for the course. So, of course, this is what this course is. One of the aims of this course is to contribute to disseminating IA2030 so people in countries can discover and really begin to own the Immunization Agenda 2030. Almost all of you have taken courses delivered mostly or fully online before. A couple of years ago, we were at 85%. And I think with the pandemic last year, that sort of closed the loop in terms of getting everybody to experience digital learning, whatever your preferences might be. Next, we have how much time you expect to have available to spend on learning activities per week. Now, this is where you can see that there's a part of the circle that's in red. And I'll tell you why. It's because this is going to be a demanding course. There is no shortcut here. I'll be turning to Alexandra, Carol, Jan, Jomil, and Michaela to say a word and to respond to this, this overview of who the participants are. But I'd like to emphasize from my side that if all you have is 1 to 2 hours per week to dedicate to this course, you might find it very difficult, if not impossible, to complete the assignments, to do the work, to do the follow-up, to do the work also of reflection and critical thinking that's going to be involved in developing your plan. If you have 3 to 5 hours per week, it's also going to be difficult for you to keep up. And for those of you, most of you who said you had at least 6 hours, that's getting closer to the kind of range, and the level of effort that this course is going to demand from you. So if you're in that group, we've got more than 40% people who said they had less than 5 hours or less. Check your calendars. Think about how you're going to organize your time. That is going to be pretty much essential in order to make it. Now, in fact, the workload is explicit. You have a weekly assignment due every Friday. Every Friday you will have something due. We'll not be giving extensions. So really we'll be releasing the assignment the previous Friday, so that for those of you who organize work on the weekend, you'll get the first weekend to really, if that's when you have time to work on it. So you don't end up asking for an extension on the following Friday. So we're going to be very rigorous about that. And then the top tip is really what we've heard consistently from alumni. And there are a number in the room who are here to support you as Accompanists. I'll be coming back to that, who are that basically what you're doing during orientation week, where there's a small task to complete every day. If you can get into that rhythm, if you can become regular about going to learning.foundation, do a daily check-in, then you will, that is one of the best ways to do it. People who do that, typically are able to finish the courses that they start, especially if you build that good habit during orientation. So I'm going to mark a pause here and turn to, first of all, Jomil Bell, who has been who is with us, having heard this presentation of participants. Jomil, would love to hear from you, first of all, of course, to introduce yourself for those who do not know you, and what would be your message to participants starting out today with orientation?
Yes, thank you, Reda, and hello, everybody. I want to welcome you all to this course, and I also want to commend you on this, that you have taken the time to apply for the course and shown courage to go through this course in these difficult times. So we do understand that it is due to the pandemic, it's a difficult time for all of us. So I really commend all of you for still making the time, prioritizing this course, and registering for it. And I want to mention one thing. Reda has explained to you that there would be assignments that you have to complete. I do want to assure you that we are here to support you. So if you have some questions related to the assignments, you have the experts, but you also have your peers, you also have the alumni, which Reda will talk about later. But please feel that you are part of this community, and we are going to all support each other, and also we all recognize that it is a difficult time for all of us in the immunization community, because there are so many conflicting priorities due to COVID and COVID vaccination rollouts. But I want to assure you that we will work together and support each other so that we can all learn and grow from this course. Thank you again. Over to you, Reda.
Thank you, Jomil. So I'll be coming back to Jan, to Carol, to Michaela a little bit later. We do have an entire section where we'll be explaining what the support, how we are going to support you exactly as Jomil said. So in fact, let's start by checking if you are fully on board. So if you have seen the screen below, You can see here, so this is actually Minja's screen where it says, welcome back, Minja, what you need to do during orientation week. I'd like you to go to the chat and type yes. If you have not seen this screen, yes, please type no. So I've just typed yes in the chat. So whatever, yes. All right, thank you, Shamsuddin. Okay, Sufia, Rogers, Hannah. Okay, all right, we're getting all yeses for now. That's great. Okay. So it looks like everyone here made it through onboarding week successfully. If there's anybody who isn't, I'm going to explain what are your options at this stage to make sure that you can follow the course, because everything is going to be happening on the learning.foundation website in the private area dedicated to the course. You need the login and password, otherwise you're not able to access that. But this looks like very, very good news for Emmanuel, who's not there yet. Thank you first of all for sharing that. And second, there are accompanists in the room. If you could reach out to Emmanuel Teniwa and just see how we can make sure that Emmanuel is fully on board. So basically, if you answered no, the same for Kelvin. If Accompanists, you can contact Kelvin privately and make sure that Kelvin is able to also get on board. Anybody else who needs help, I'll be saying more about Accompanists in a little bit. Now, second, and this is relevant for Kelvin and Emmanuel, but just to review with you, you received a series of 2 emails. One gives you your new Scholar account, and so you've got here your username and password. Make sure to save this, and you need to be able to recall it. Sometimes we have people, you're excited, you go to learning.foundation for the first time, and then all of a sudden you have to go back again, or you have to go from another device, and you don't remember what your username or password are. Your email is very important. This is the email that we have for you. If you use another email, we may not be able to recognize your work. So make sure you use that email everywhere we ask you for an email. And then the second one is just this email that says you've been granted access to the course. So when you go to the learning.foundation website, you need to go to the login page, and that's where you'll put in the email and password. And as of Tuesday afternoon, we had 127 scholars who were making progress in learning.foundation. So that is almost everyone, but there's a few of you who we are following up. Accompanists have been reaching out to you. That includes Kelvin and Emmanuel and others. So please, we have volunteers who've been trying to reach you. If you haven't answered them yet, if you haven't, they are here to support you. I'll be saying more about that later. So you can see here the names of the people who are making progress on learning.foundation. We'll be sharing the slide deck if you want to check to make sure that you're there. Every time you complete a lesson, it's important to check the box that says complete lesson. Why? Because this is how we track your progress. If you don't check the box, you may receive disturbing or scary messages concerned about your progress or lack of progress in the course. This is how you signal us. You tell us that you are making progress. Now, you do have a percentage indicator. So you see here, Ja has completed 75% of the activities shared so far, but we always get very diligent learners, participants who get to 100%, and then all of a sudden the percentage drops back down, and they're horrified. What did they do wrong? You did not do anything wrong. It is simply that we have added new activities, and so even if you had completed 100% of the activities that have been shared up to that point, you haven't yet done the new ones, and that is why your percentage goes down. Last but not least, Ja has highlighted, so it's not obvious. You can see you can see here there are 2 downloads, so it's this little arrow with a line. You click there, and that is how you can see the resources that are being shared on this particular activity or page. I'd like to turn to Jan Grevendonk. With Jan, we have developed, and I know there's some alumni in the room as well, the data improvement courses, including those in 2020 using this learning.foundation platform, what we call Scholar 2.0. Jan, could you introduce yourself and tell us, share with us what would be your advice to scholars who are starting this course today, both in order to make it as learners, but also with respect to the significance of Immunization Agenda 2030?
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, and nice to meet a lot of known faces again. So my name is Jan Grevendonk. I work in WHO in headquarters in the data team. So, and as Reda said, I've met a lot of you through previous courses focusing on data use, data quality, improvement, triangulation, and all of that. So in the immunization agenda, I've been focusing on the monitoring and evaluation around the immunization agenda, and happy to contribute there to people who are interested in those areas. I think with the immunization agenda, it's a very interesting but a very broad thing, right? So there's a little bit of everything for everybody, like from demand to data to health systems, and a lot of things in the middle. So I think what I would probably advise you is to be quite specific on what you're going to pick from there and what your work is going to be around. And then for the rest, as Reda said, try not to lose the rhythm, try to do something, try to keep up every week with the tasks, I guess, because I think once you lose that, it's really hard to get motivated to catch up. And for the rest, I'm very happy to be here again, and hopefully I can learn a lot from experiences in countries from you, and ideas and new innovations that pop up every time. So I always thought it was very interesting to read all the creative projects and get all those ideas, because actually for us it's also very interesting to hear from you, and we hope to also be able to help you sometimes. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Jan Grevendonk. So we have a question from Mohammed Imran Qureshi, who asked, will there be focused webinars on the 7 priority areas of Immunization Agenda 2030? So the answer is no. We are offering instead the lightning chats, which are these quick Q&As, and then we'll be through your project development, you'll pick one priority area that you will be focusing on, and then thank you, Mohammed Imran Qureshi, for answering the question from Dr. Solaj Rana. In fact, this is the next section here. Again, today is really exceptional. This is the only time we'll be just dumping a lot of information, but it's information that we believe is critical, can help make the difference between completion and non-completion of this course. So this is why we do this orientation briefing as you're working through the daily activities. So first of all, you were selected out of a very large number of participants. 7 out of 8 of the people who applied were not selected by the World Health Organization. You can see here some of the guidance again that you also heard from Jan and Jill Mill, really that daily habit to do a check-in, and keep in mind that everything is incremental. So each week's activities builds on the preceding ones. There are many ways to get support. So you're receiving a lot of emails. There's a lot going on Telegram, and then you have learning.foundation. So you'll figure out we do this because everyone is different, has different ways, needs different levels of support. And you'll see as you go, you can pick and choose what works for you in order to make progress through the course. Now, I'm very pleased to introduce the Accompanists. So Accompanists are alumni who have completed at least one scholar course. And now they're just as busy as you are, and they have actually volunteered to help you succeed in the course. So I'm actually going to turn to, here you can see 3 quotes from Accompanists in previous courses. We can move myself out of the way so you can read the 3rd quote. I'm going to ask the Accompanists if you could raise your hand if you'd like to share your testimonial. What exactly are you in a position to provide? And all right, let's go to, all right, Attahir Abu Bakr has completed many scholar courses. Attahir, you'll have to tell us how many, and how exactly can you help participants some of whom are taking for their first scholar course with this course on IA2030. Do introduce yourself and tell us how you are able to help and what is your motivation.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. I'm Atahiru Abubakar by name from Nigeria. I've attended several courses on the Geneva Learning Foundation on the Scholar Hub, where I was able to support myself. Though at the initial stage, I couldn't do anything. I was about dropping. So a former accompanist, who is my mentor, Alain Blaise and Charlotte, were able to put me through to complete my first course. So after that, I was able to do a lot of things and I navigate. So as an accompanist now, I can support any scholar on the onboarding process if he couldn't do on doing his weekly assignment, how to navigate on the Geneva scholar template of the Geneva Learning Foundation, because there's some exercise that you need to do, how to follow it one by one, because you have to listen to the videos, you have to listen to all the exercises there. That will help you to understand what you need to do. Then there's the creator project that we are going to use in future. Very soon the template will be shared. Even that template, you need to understand what you need to do on it. So I can be able to support scholars to do that. Just of yesterday, I was discussing with a scholar in US who was part of this program. We were able to select a strategy that she wants to use. She was able to select the strategy, explain why she wants to do that and what she wants to do on the strategy to support immunization globally. Thank you, Reda, for the opportunity. Over.
Thank you very much, Atahir. Let's go now to Anu Rotimi. Anu, please tell us, introduce yourself. Tell us, why are you, what's your motivation for serving as an accompanist, helping newcomers to the course, and what kind of support are you able to offer?
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Anu Rotimi. I'm joining from Abuja, Nigeria. I actually motivated to support scholars through learning because I was once, this time last year at the onset of the pandemic, I stumbled on the Geneva Learning and I registered and I was given admission to be part of the Teach to Reach one. So when I joined, I really found it so difficult navigating the daily processes because I was also working from home. But thanks to the accomplished time, then it was even daily. We were using, they were 30 minutes Zoom meetings where you can get help. So I joined like once, and thanks to Helen Blaise and the other team, they were able to guide me through. And since then, I was able to devise a means within my tight schedule to complete my task. So what I'm telling the company is that the process is very easy. And even one of the things I've learned is that I've now been able to inculcate like 1 hour of for capacity building in my daily schedule. So that's why it's very, very busy for me. What I'm able to offer to the scholars at the onboard is that, you need to be able to read between the lines, check your emails. That they might look a little bit many, but don't be discouraged. Create your calendar schedules. You can have a jotter or somewhere you actually write them down, put those tags and do them. Do not procrastinate and say I'll come back to it later. Do it right there and there if possible. Also, go through each of the courses on the platform one by one. Then for your own creator project that you'll be doing, it is good now that the processes that ask those daily questions that they are being asked to do, kindly take note of those questions. Kindly put just your answers there. Because when I was doing my own course, what I did when I came to a stock was I went back to those answers that I was providing during the daily tasks, and I was able to actually complete my rubric. So I think that is another way of helping us to get through the course, and I wish us a success. Thank you. Thank you, Reda. Thank you, everyone. Please feel free to reach out to me should you have any concern. I'm on Telegram and I'm WhatsApp and I'm email. I'm always available to provide support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anu. And there are many other accompanists in the room. Accompanists are really a critical pillar in the support system in this course. And we know support really makes all the difference. It's about your intrinsic motivation, but then it's also about the practical ways you can figure out what you need to do next. And you can see there are really two kinds of support that are offered in this course. One is support that can come at any time. So for example, you'll find many video tutorials in which you can get you can press a button and you have a global expert from WHO or another global partner who's going to explain what you have to do for the weekly assignment. And you can do that at any time of the day or night. It really is like having an expert on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The same with the main project in the course that you're going to have to do. And then with the chat box that's on every page on the learning.foundation website. Then you have support at any time from your peers. So please be more reasonable. Maybe any time is not really the way to put it, but you can reach out to Accompanist and request support at any time on Telegram. You'll also have your remote coffee partners, and then there's support that happens at a specific time, such as this weekly discussion group support, where you give and receive feedback, support where you get the update, just spelled out what exactly you need to do next and how to do it, and then peer review, as you'll discover. As soon as you finish the week 1 assignment, you'll get to look at 3 projects submitted by your colleagues, and there you'll realize that this is actually, by having to support them, you're really helping to improve your own learning. Now, if you feel overwhelmed, you can ignore a lot of the emails, a lot of the Telegram messages, because everything you need to complete the course is on learning.foundation. And some people just prefer to do it that way. They don't need, and maybe they don't have time for, or they simply don't need the extra support that's provided. So in those cases, it's very simple. You just log into one place, into the dashboard. You instantly see what you have to do next, where you have to go. You can go through the lessons or the activities at your own pace, and that's really all you need. Now, also, you'll see this, what Ja has called the chat box. So you have at the bottom right, at any time, you can ask your question. And I'm proud to say that our little team has a response time under 20 minutes. So you should be able to get an answer if you get stuck. Now, please don't abuse this. We have some people who use this box to say hello. Every time you type something in there, we look at it and we give it due consideration. So please ask yourself before you use this or other support options, have I really done everything that I can from my end? And I'm still stuck. I've tried, I've made my best effort, and then I request support. On the Telegram group, so there is a group for announcements, and I really strongly recommend that you connect and follow the announcements for the course. That's the quickest way to know what you have to do next. But there's another group for dialogue, and this is for open chatting, and we have a lot of people on the dialogue, so it can be overwhelming. So if you find it overwhelming, mute the chat group. Don't mute the announcements. Make sure you still get the notifications for that, or just leave the group. You don't need to chat in order to make progress through the course. Everything is on learning.foundation, but that so it's really, you need to find your comfort level. Some people really enjoy being connected to a global community and having this sort of constant chatter, and other people can't stand it. Wherever you fall, you can adjust and make the decision there. I'd like to turn now to Alexandra Karik, who is one of the subject matter experts who will be working through this course. Alexandra, you served as an SME in the 2017, I think it was, GRISP course. Alexandra, would you like to introduce yourself and say a word about what your advice would be for participants who are going to be needing or looking for support in this course?
Indeed, thank you, Reda. You surprised me. I wasn't supposed to be here today. Anyway, I'm glad to be here again. Indeed, it was a long time ago in 2017. My advice is just not to be shy, and there is no simple questions. There is no difficult questions. Just try and exchange your experience, and we are all in this together. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Alexandra. All right, so now the next section of this briefing, and again, this is the only time we're going to do this, just giving you a lot of information. If I am going too fast, speaking too fast, don't worry, we will be sharing the slides and the recording, and you can watch at your own pace. take your time to review the slides, but we want to get through this critical information before we go any further. This is really the synthesis of what we have found makes the difference, what a learner needs to know in this course, in a course like this, in order to actually finish the course. So you can see the weekly schedule here. So right now we're in in week 0. You can see from the 10th to the 14th of May. Then we'll have 3 weekly assignments. And in week 1, you do an assignment. In week 2, you peer review that assignment as you're also working on the week 2 assignment. For those of you who are alumni from 2019 or 2018 courses, this is one of the big differences is we now have peer review in the week following the submission of each assignment. Now, you do see a critical deadline is that at the end of week 4 is when you submit your creator project. So that is simply the main deliverable in this course. This is the plan that you're going to build around a strategic priority of IA2030. And the recommendation is to start as early as you can, thinking about it, taking notes, outlining what is your project going to be. Don't wait until week 4. There's a lot that you have to put together. And then in week 5, you'll be doing peer review of the main project in the course. And week 6, that entire final week, is super important. That's when you're going to be revising that initial project. So what is this project actually about? Your creator project is going to be to prepare an action plan. So it has to be aligned, so consistent with the global vision and strategy for the decade. And then suitable for inclusion, whatever level of the health system you're at, in the immunization plan for your country. Now, you'll choose one IA2030 strategic priority, 3 key areas of focus. And don't worry, this is going to be explained and detailed really step by step, but this to give you an overall sense. And then you'll have the concrete actions and activities to achieve the objectives that you've identified. And we'll ask you to consider the core principles of IA2030 and to make sure that you integrate the gender lens into your project. Now, you'll find that there are 2 guidance documents, and we'll be sharing these. I believe we're sharing these this week. Tomorrow in the orientation update, you'll find what's called a rubric. So this is really the instruction manual that explains what you need to put into your creator project. And then a template for the action plan. So it's a Word document and you can start filling that in, but it's not a fill-in exercise. It's really the critical thinking you do. You'll see that items 1 and 2 are open spaces, and it'll be for you to figure out how you fill those up with the most relevant information, analysis, description, and summaries that will help you flesh out what action you want to take and how you're going to be about it. Now, the weekly assignments every week starting, and these will be typically shared on Friday. So on Friday, you'll find assignment 1. And these are critical. We find actually that, again, participants who complete the first assignment are likely to complete the entire course. So think about it as your first milestone. This is your first challenge in this course. If you can get this one done, it's likely that you will be able to get the second and third assignments done as well as the main project. So the second assignment on how to integrate the IA2030 core principles into your immunization context. And then assignment 3, how to make immunization more gender responsive in your context. This is where I'm going to turn to Michaela Manna, who's one of our subject matter experts who has joined this session. So I hope it's a little bit less of a surprise than it was for Alexandra, who indeed was not going to be there. But Michaela, are you able to unmute? We'd love to hear from you. If you could introduce yourself and tell us, we have an entire assignment focused on making immunization more gender responsive in your context. Can you tell us more?
Hi, Reda. Thanks. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Michela Manna, and I work for the Global Polio Eradication Initiative at WHO headquarters. And so we'll be together with Shireen Edari, who unfortunately couldn't join this call, but we'll be assisting you in mainstreaming gender in your work. we contributed to gender mainstreaming in the Immunization Agenda 2030 and in the gender annex that you will be received soon. And so just my suggestion is to be curious. We are sure that you already are very aware of gender barriers that can have an impact in immunization outcomes. So we just would like for you to reflect more on those barriers, how gender interacts with other determinants of health, and we are happy to provide you guidance in better mainstream gender in your work. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And indeed with Shireen Hidari, we've already had several lightning chats specifically focused on gender and other critical areas. Now, the recommended daily schedule for these weekly assignments, you can see here. So on Friday, that's when you can already access. You'll need to go to learning.foundation, retrieve the resources for the assignments, download usually a Word document, and maybe and then you'll find the video tutorials. So basically, that's when at any time that is convenient for you, you can go into learning.foundation and receive advice, receive guidance, receive instructions, receive examples that will help you as you work on your assignment. On Wednesday, we expect some of you will have already completed the assignment, so we'll be turning to you to present your assignment, and that of course will be helpful to your colleagues. Will be asked to give feedback and also show that it is possible you can do the assignment, and hopefully encourage those of you who haven't completed them yet to finish. And then Thursday or Friday is really about submitting your coursework before the deadline. Now, there's a key point about the kind of learning that we'll do together in this course. And even if you're very experienced with online learning, perhaps you've taken many, many online courses before, this may be different from other courses that you've taken. And I'd like to highlight that over time, in addition to being regular, we found these two factors that make a tremendous difference. One is in response to having to learn new tools, create logins and password, maybe join Telegram even though you prefer WhatsApp. It's really, we see that people come in with a positive attitude. Okay, I'll do this. I'm sure there's a good reason why, sort of trusting the process. And then second, this course, in most kinds of learning, it's sort of individual. You do things as long as you do your homework, then that's what you need to do to get done. In this course, you're going to find that you are dependent on others, and others are dependent on you. And this is what we call peer learning. That people mean different things by peer learning, but in this course, your peers are going to depend on your commitment, and you are going to depend on theirs. In order to finish the course, there's a situation which can feel unfair and frustrating, is you've done everything you were supposed to, but because you're dependent on your colleagues, you may not be able to complete an activity or finish the course. So really, unless there is that mutual solidarity, some of you may find yourselves facing difficulties, not because you've done anything wrong, but because the person you are dependent on has not upheld their commitment to the course. And again, as you look at your calendar, as you try to figure out when you're going to do the assignments, when you're going to do the peer reviews, when you're going to do the main project, think about that. You not only have a commitment to the course team or to WHO, you have a commitment to each other. And in those times when you're struggling, you're figuring out, you're not sure if you're going to be able to finish, I'd like you to think back to this key message and hopefully draw on that to get to the finish line. Now, some of the feedback around the power of the peer review process and the peer learning process, you can see here. And I found reviewing other people's work particularly interesting. We all took the same data and presented it in so many different ways. So you'll see when you do peer review, you will also be learning from others. The more we work with peers and get validation, the more confidence grows. You'll likely need to challenge your assumptions about how you learn in order to succeed in this course. We're combining the best of both worlds. We have experts from the World Health Organization, from other global partners who are going to be contributing, providing guidance, providing resources, responding to your questions. And then you'll also be receiving feedback from your peers, and would like you to place both of those on the same footing, to consider both of those as important inputs that can contribute to your own learning. And really learning to trust and support your colleagues is not a nice to have. It's a necessity if you and to think about how you are going to uphold the commitment that you have to each other. So now I'm going to lower all the hands, and I'm going to ask, you can see 3 questions up on your screen. We have 16 minutes remaining in the for this first briefing for the WHO Scholar Level 1 certification on Immunization Agenda 2030. And so please raise your hand if you'd like to answer these questions. First of all, how have you organized your time for this course? Second, all right, and I see Jargal Saikan Dundog has already raised. There's a first raised hand. I'm asking you to unmute.
Thank you.
Yes, please tell us who you are, where you're connecting from, and then take on the questions, please.
Thank you, Reda. And do you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. And my name is Jargal. You can call me just J. My colleagues call me J, Dr. J. And I am working with the Mongolian country office of the UNICEF. I am the consultant. My background is pediatrician. And why I am here, I would like to learn from all of you. And after that, they share with our colleagues to develop and implement IA2030 national strategy. And I have selected one strategic priority, ASP1. And that's why I have selected that one. I have contacted with the national, subnational, and end users of the API team, and they responded to me by the cover tool. And I have found why they choose the ASP1. That's why in the still facing challenges to the healthcare workers. Frontline workers, as they respond to question and low salary and the frequently turnover, and plus and the lack of capacity, especially to use in digital technology in the remote area, some end users, and plus in our country it's very difficult, very big issues. It's hard to reach population. That's why, Mongolia is has a very small population and big distant territory. That's why it's very difficult to reach the hard to reach households. And plus in the end users in some clusters, they have not, it's very difficult to use in the digital tools and due to the lack of infrastructure. That's why all issues, and plus in the pressure from the social media, some vaccine hesitancy, that's all related, that's all needs to support primary health care. That's why we have selected the ASP1.
Thank you very much.
And thank you.
Right.
And when I child, my parents teach me in more listen and less talk. That's why I am stuck here.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Let's now go to Christina Gaberi. I've asked you to unmute, Christina. Please go ahead. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to introduce yourself. Yep.
Yes. Hello. Do you hear me?
Loud and clear.
My name is Christina Gaberi. I'm working for UNICEF country office in Moldova. To tell you the truth, I have not organized my time for this course. I hope I will manage to organize it in time to see how it works, because as all of you said already, this is a very hectic period. So I really hope I can schedule my time right. Regarding the immunization agenda strategic priority, I have chosen the commitment and demand. Why is that? Because I do we as UNICEF Country Office are partners with central public authorities in implementing the national immunization program, and all of the strategic priorities are in place. But I'm working in a country where the demand side suffers a lot. That's why I have chosen this specific strategic priority to understand better how I can support our national counterparts in implementing and increasing the demand from the caregivers and families. So that's in a nutshell all from my side. Thank you, and I hope we can really exchange the experiences and enrich our learning here. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. Let's go now to Barka Maman. Barka, please go ahead and unmute yourself so that we may hear you. All right, Barka may not be able to speak. Let's go to Rosina Mistry. Rosina, please go ahead and unmute.
Hi, can you hear me, Reda and everyone?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So how have I organized my time for this course? I'm in between two consultancy assignments. So at this moment, at this point in time, I think for another 1.5 months, I think that I will be able to give much more time than I otherwise am able to do. So, I mean, I don't see a problem there. So that's my answer to the question number one. Now, which IA2030 Strategic Priority have I taken? I was previously the Global Civil Society representative for South and also the Gavi CSO steering committee. So my interest is actually in CSOs more, although I do consultancy on the systems also. So what I would really like to do is to find opportunity with the CSO platform to strengthen the CSOs that are working under the rubric of that platform and try to see how can I empower them more and inform them more about IA2030. I mean, what will be the output of my work? I'm still thinking about it, whether it would be a simple handbook or whether it would be an online training that I would do, because they cannot read and understand English so well. I mean, not everybody, but like say 30-40% of the CSOs would find it difficult, but it is important for them to see the big picture. So that's what I will be focusing on. And I've already answered why does it matter, because of my passion to actually, and my clear understanding and my belief that fifth child or hard to reach population, in fact hardest to reach population, cannot be reached by the government, because that is why they are hardest to reach. And we have got a very positive attitude in the government, and they are very desperate to actually reach out to that hard to reach population. So I think the time is right, and we need to really mobilize our CSO platform to actually be able to speak the same language and to be able to present their point of view in those various fora. So this is from my side. Over.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's now go to Abe Bobole Amos Yuma. Abe Bobole Amos, are you able to hear us? We'd love to hear from you.
Good day. Can you hear me properly?
No, can you try speaking closer to your microphone and louder as well?
Okay. Can you get me clear?
Yes, much better. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Reda, and hello, colleagues. So the questions are three. I'm called Abe Amos Boboli. I'm from South Sudan. My background is a medical officer. I'm supporting the COVAX team, vaccines team, COVID-19, WHO countries in South Sudan. It's my first experience with vaccines, and I must say I'm happy to join this course. So when it comes to organizing time for the course, yes, I think for me, I have put it as a priority to have 1 hour just every day from Monday to Friday and with the course. And what priority is most important for me, I'm looking at immunization during an outbreak or immunization.
Yes, Abibobole, we're no longer able to hear you, unfortunately. You seem to have either background noise or a connectivity issue. At least we managed to hear the answer to the first question, so thank you for that. Let's go to Emmanuel Teniwa. Emmanuel, please go ahead and unmute. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Reda. I'm Dr. Tenya Emmanuel. I work with WHO Country Office in Uganda. I'm a routine immunization officer. I have organized my time in a way that I input at least 2 hours per day to enable me to complete this course. And my strategic priority is the life course and integration. The reason as to why I've chosen this, we have been approached by other programs within the ministry, looking at the successes in terms of performance as per our indicator, where they have requested, how have you done such a wonderful work to improve, and you have coverage, for instance, of BCG above 90%, and then also the HIV program. They are saying you are handling children, and we want to do the early infant diagnosis. How can we work together? Now, we have looked at all this, and we've seen that the best way to address some of the missed opportunities, the zero-dose challenges, we can do it in a better way if we all bring these programs together to see how we can use the synergies in order to address the challenges. And we look at a person in totality as opposed to offering these services in silos. So we want to work out a better way in terms of planning, in terms of implementation, monitoring, and resource sharing. Within this limited time, I want to stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Let's hear from one last person. Of course, there are many more hands raised. Always sorry when we don't get to hear from everyone, but Rita Wililo, please go ahead and unmute. We would love to hear from you, and I hope you'll be able to unmute. We have one final task, one final thing I want to share, but let's see if we can get one more voice. All right, let's go to Rajendra Gadhavi. Rajendra, please go ahead and unmute. We'd love to hear from you. And okay, Rita, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. As you said, my name is Rita Wililo. I'm working at country office in Tanzania, WHO. And maybe to go straight, I have organized, I thought first maybe 1 hour will be enough, but going through you're talking, I think 2 hours will be enough. So I will change my 1 hour to 2 hours at least a day. And the strategic priority that I have chosen is outbreak and emergency. The reason why is that, first of all, we have this triple billion, I think, triple billion, I think you're all aware about it, and I'm belonging to the cluster of EPR, Emergency Preparedness and Response. I'm working as a vaccine preventable disease surveillance officer. So I think this will be appropriate for me to have more knowledge and more learning about it. And also, yeah, I think I can stop there.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And impressed by the concision of this group. As I said, there's one last task, one last thing to do today before we can close this this briefing, and you can see it here now on your screen. So you still have the possibility of opting out. Now you know we have shared with you exactly, as you know, with great detail, what you can expect from the course, what we're going to be expecting of you, and how we're going to be supporting you, and how you will be supporting each other. So there's no dishonor if at this point you realize, okay, this course is not for me, it's too much, or it doesn't fit my expectations. We just ask you to tell us why. We'll share the link to that. Let me actually share the link now if anybody wants to opt out. But I'd like you to, if you are ready to go, And this means you're committing to the course, you're committing to supporting your colleagues, you have time blocked in your calendar, so it's realistic that you're actually going to be dedicating time to the course and you're ready for week 1. I'd like you to go to the chat and just type 2 letters, G-O, type go, if you are in fact ready to go. Okay, Maria Manzan was first out the blocks. And all right, and this is how we like to end this orientation briefing, just really giving you a sense that we are in this together and you're going to be needing each other, dependent on each other. And in response to this much motivation, this much enthusiasm, I'd like to ask you, even if you are alone in front of your computer screen, maybe your colleagues are going to look at you funny, if you could put your hands together, in fact, so we get, if we were together in an amphitheater, given the numbers here, we'd probably be doing something like this. All right. And your next steps are clear. Complete your daily orientation tasks. On Friday, you'll receive the instructions for the first assignment, and then really it's about doing that daily check-in. Last but not least, you are going to get a screen asking you for feedback on this discussion group. This also helps us improve. If there's anything that is unclear, anything we can do better, let us know. That's it for today. Thank you to Alexandra Karik, Carol Tevi, Benison. We did not hear from you today, but we will in the coming weeks. Alexandra, Jill Milbal, Michaela Mena, and Jan Grevendonk. Take care and goodbye.